In the previous episodes, we mapped BlueRiver's context, interested parties, scope, and life cycle boundaries. Now, we use that map to ask a practical question. Where does BlueRiver interact with water, directly or indirectly, and which of those interactions really matter? This episode is not about creating a generic environmental aspects list. It's about transforming the life cycle view into a structured understanding of, let's see, water-related environmental aspects, possible environmental impacts, environmental conditions affected by BlueRiver, environmental conditions that affect BlueRiver, significance, and risks and opportunities that may need action. So by the end of this episode, number 5, participants should be able to take a life cycle map and convert it into a water-related environmental aspects register, determining direct aspects, indirect aspects, abnormal conditions, emergency situations, impacts, significance, and the first signs of risks and opportunities. Environmental aspects are not found by sitting in an office and copying a standard list. They are found by walking through the life cycle of the organization and asking, what do we take from water systems? What do we return to water systems? What could go wrong? What do we control? What do we influence? What conditions do we affect? And what conditions can affect us? For BlueRiver, water is not only an input, it's a strategic environmental condition. In the previous episodes, we built the foundations. So we looked at BlueRiver's context, we considered local environmental conditions, we determined interested parties, we defined the EMS scope and looked at the life cycle. Now we are ready to do something very practical. We'll take that life cycle map and transform it into a water-related environmental aspects register. So, in simple terms, we are going to ask, where does BlueRiver touch water? And why does it matter? The life cycle map is not just a drawing. It's a working tool. It helps us avoid one of the most common mistakes in environmental management, looking only inside the factory. For BlueRiver, water-related aspects may be found upstream, on-site, downstream, and in outsourced activities. So, some are direct, so BlueRiver controls them, and some are indirect. BlueRiver may not perform the activity directly, but it may still influence it, and that distinction is important. ISO 14001 does not expect the organization to control everything in the world, but it does expect the organization to understand where it has control or influence. Now, direct aspects are usually easier to identify because they happen inside BlueRiver's own operations. So, for example, water withdrawal is a direct aspect. So, BlueRiver uses water as part of its product and process. Cleaning and sanitation are also direct aspects. They consume water, they use chemicals and generate wastewater. Leaks and losses are direct aspects because they represent unnecessary water consumption. And wastewater discharge is a direct aspect because BlueRiver generates wastewater and sends it to a treatment system or discharge point. And chemical storage near drains can also be a water-related aspect because a spill may contaminate surface water, groundwater, or stormwater systems. The key point is this: a water-related aspect is not only water use. It can also be anything that may affect water quality, water availability, drainage, or aquatic ecosystems. Now, indirect aspects are sometimes more difficult because they happen outside BlueRiver's immediate operations, but they may still be relevant. For example, a packaging supplier may operate in a water-stressed region. BlueRiver does not control that supplier's water management system, but it may influence supplier selection, purchasing criteria, audits, specifications, or improvement expectations. And the same applies to external warehouses, cleaning providers, maintenance contractors, transport washing, and waste or sludge operators. So, a contractor working near stormwater drains may create a pollution risk even if the contractor is not a BlueRiver employee. So, the practical question is not, do we perform this activity ourselves? The better question is this activity connected to our EMS? And can we control or influence how it is managed? Environmental aspects should not be determined only for perfect operating conditions. Many serious environmental impacts occur when something changes, fails, leaks, overflows, blocks, or is done outside the normal routine. For BlueRiver, normal conditions include production, cleaning, storage, wastewater generation, and dispatch. Abnormal conditions may include maintenance activities, blocked drains, equipment failure, incorrect chemical dosing, or wastewater treatment problems. Potential emergency situations may include chemical spills, major leaks, contaminated firewater, or wastewater overflow. And this is why the aspects register should include more than routine operations. It should help BlueRiver understand where environmental harm may occur under realistic operating conditions. Now, this is an important distinction. The aspect is the interaction. The impact is the possible environmental consequence. But in the revised way of thinking, we should also connect these to environmental conditions. So sometimes BlueRiver affects an environmental condition. For example, excessive water withdrawal may contribute to pressure on local water resources. Wastewater discharge may affect water quality. Contaminated storm water may affect a local stream or drainage system. But sometimes the environmental condition affects BlueRiver. For example, drought may restrict water availability. Flooding may affect storage areas or wastewater systems. Higher temperature may increase cleaning needs, cooling demand, or other risks. So, the aspects register should help us see both directions: how BlueRiver affects the environment and how environmental conditions can affect BlueRiver. For this episode, we will use a simple 5-column matrix. The first column is the activity. The second column is the water-related environmental aspect. The third column is the possible impact. The fourth column connects the aspect to environmental conditions. So, this is where we ask whether BlueRiver affects a condition or whether the condition affects BlueRiver. And the fifth column is significance. This keeps the tool simple, but still powerful. And it prevents the aspects register from becoming just a list of environmental topics. Let's see. So, for beverage production, so the activity is production, the aspect is water withdrawal. The possible impact is pressure on water resources. And this matters especially if local water availability is already under stress. For CIP cleaning, so CIP stands for clean in place, okay? The aspect include water use and chemical use. The impact may be higher wastewater load or pollution risk. And this may be significant because cleaning is frequent and wastewater is regulated. Okay, for chemical storage, the aspect is the potential for a spill near drains. And the impact may be contamination of surface water or soil or groundwater. And for contractor activities, so we have here in this example equipment maintenance, okay? So the key issue may be contaminated runoff. Even if BlueRiver does not perform the activity directly, it may still need to control or influence how contractors work on site. So this is for equipment maintenance, but we have also, for example, for external warehouse cleaning, okay, and for transport washing. So activities not performed in BlueRiver facilities. For suppliers, the aspect may be indirect. So packaging choices can have water-related implications if production occurs in water-stressed regions. And if BlueRiver increases production, the water-related aspects may become more significant because water withdrawal and wastewater volume increase. So this is how the register starts to support real decisions. And we have two more examples. So wastewater pretreatment failure, the water aspect so is untreated or poorly treated discharge, impact pollution or permit breach. So receiving treatment system or water body may be affected and significant. So this is a typical situation, abnormal situation, and a case for a risk, so a fire or major spill. Water aspect is contaminated firewater or runoff. Impact acute pollution, and stormwater and surface water may be affected, and if significant, if that occurs. Okay. Now let's see how this connects or starts connecting with risks and opportunities. So once we determine significant aspects, we can start to see risks and opportunities. Okay. So for water withdrawal, the risk may be water restriction, community concern, or reputational pressure. The opportunity may be water efficiency, reuse, lower consumption, and lower cost. So for wastewater load, the risk may be a permit breach or treatment overload. The opportunity may be better process control, cleaner production, or improved cleaning cycles. And for contractor runoff, for example, the risk may be a direct pollution incident, and the opportunity may be stronger contract controls, clearer work permits, and better supervision. And for supplier water stress, the risk may be supply disruption or lifecycle concern. So the opportunity may be better supplier criteria, innovation in packaging, or supplier development. And this is why the aspects register is not a bureaucratic document. It's a bridge between environmental understanding and management action. Significance is a judgment, but it should not be arbitrary. BlueRiver needs criteria. An aspect may be significant because the environmental impact may be severe. It may be significant because the activity happens frequently. It may be significant because there is a legal requirement or permit limit. It may be significant because the local water environment is sensitive. It may be significant because interested parties care about it. It may also be significant because the aspect creates business risk. So, for example, water scarcity can affect production continuity. So, the determination of significance should connect environmental reality, compliance obligations, interested party expectations, and operational priorities. The output of this episode is a water-related aspects register. It does not need to be perfect at the first attempt, but it should be good enough to help BlueRiver understand where water matters most. The register should include direct aspects, such as water withdrawal, cleaning, wastewater, leaks, and chemical storage. It should include indirect aspects such as supplier water stress, packaging choices, contractor practices, and outsourced activities. It should also include normal conditions, abnormal conditions, and potential emergency situations. And it should show which aspects may be significant and why. But before BlueRiver decides what actions to take, there is another important question. Which compliance obligations apply to these aspects? So, for example, wastewater discharge may be subject to permit limits. Water withdrawal may require authorization or reporting. Chemical storage may be covered by legal requirements. Stormwater contamination may create regulatory obligations. So, the aspects register gives us the map. The next episode helps us understand the rules, limits, permits, and commitments that apply to that map. In this episode, we move from the lifecycle map to a practical water-related aspects register. And that is an important step. The lifecycle map shows where BlueRiver operates and where it has control or influence. The aspects register shows where BlueRiver interacts with water, where impacts may occur, and where environmental conditions may create risks or opportunities. BlueRiver is no longer talking about the environment in general terms. It's now determining specific activities, specific aspects, specific impacts, and specific reasons why some of them may matter more than others. But this is not yet the moment to jump directly into action plans. So, before deciding what to control, improve, monitor, or change, BlueRiver needs to understand its compliance obligations. So, which legal requirements apply? Which permits set limits? Which customer, corporate, contractual, or authority requirements must be considered? And how do those obligations apply to each relevant water-related aspect? That is the next step. So, in episode 6, we will take the water-related aspects register and connect it with compliance obligations. This will help BlueRiver understand not only where it interacts with water, but also what it is required or as committed to do about it.